Hi, I'm Sarah Subiata Bennett, and if there's one thing I love about living in Texas, especially right here in Dallas, is being at the heart of some of the most exciting economic growth in the country. Companies are planting roots, families are building futures, and innovation is thriving. In fact, between 2018 and 2024, Dallas-Fort Worth gained more corporate headquarters than any other metro in the U.S. That's according to the Dallas Business Journal. That kind of momentum doubled the market cap of public companies here to a staggering $1.5 trillion. Let's be honest. Texas just makes sense for a corporate headquarters. We've got the location, the talent, the grit, and yes, the swagger. And now we're about to have our own stock exchange. That's right. The Texas Stock Exchange, or as some are calling it, Y'all Street, is officially on the way, aiming to launch in 2026. With Texas boasting a $2.7 trillion economy, the second largest in the United States and eighth largest globally, this is more than a bold idea. It's a power move. Even the New York Stock Exchange is watching closely. They've already rolled out the New York Stock Exchange Texas in response. So what does this all mean for companies, investors, and our state's future? In today's episode of Let's Talk Local, we're at the Metropolitan Civic and Business Association luncheon at Perry's Steakhouse, where the conversation is all about this exciting new chapter. Nicole Chambers, the Global Managing Director of the Texas Stock Exchange, joined us to answer big questions about the launch of Y'all Street, starting with the most obvious. How did the Texas Stock Exchange come to be?
So actually, the Texas Stock Exchange is not a new idea. If you look back 40 years, there's been a patent for it, and it's kind of been abandoned many times over. But we are really thrilled. It really got its legs going in 2021. If you're unfamiliar, the state of New Jersey is where all trading occurs for the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. And New Jersey was going to implement a transaction tax that essentially taxed every trade that occurred by any financial institution in their data centers. So as you can imagine, that's an incredibly costly addition to any sort of a budget. And it really created NASDAQ in New York, and my background is from NASDAQ. I ran listings there for 17 years, was to say, where else can they do business? And Texas, of course, was considered in 2021. Governor Abbott and many others took the executive teams of both exchanges around. As you can imagine, New Jersey got word of it and quickly took away that transaction tax for the time being. But that was really what started the driving force of why are we waiting for New York to come to Texas? Why can't Texas create something given our tremendous pro-business policy, our pro-business regulation, and just the amount of diversity in the skilled labor and skilled industry that we have here in the state. So 2021 was really kind of when we started this process, but our CEO, Jim Lee, was appointed by Governor Abbott to really take this on and build a world-class exchange that will rival what we have currently with the duopoly in New York City. So that is how we got started. We've been able to raise and come to the market as the most well-capitalized exchange in history. We've raised almost $200 million with some great institutions that back us, like BlackRock, Citadel, Charles Schwab. It's no secret that they are all leaders in their respective trading areas, largest retail, largest passive, and largest active. But what we're most proud of is that 80% of our financing has come from private wealth, and specifically great Texas leaders and business leaders that have seen this as an absolute game changer for not only the state, for the city, but for the broad economy nationwide, and there needs to be a change. So we are now in the process, and that's really where we've gotten started, and we have a lot to talk about where we're going.
According to the city of Dallas, our city has just been named the #1 destination in the United States for corporate headquarters relocations in 2025. And with something as monumental as our very own stock exchange on the horizon, that growth is only expected to accelerate. So, what could the next decade look like as Y'all Street becomes a reality?
Well, I think we have to also take a look at how far we've come, right? And it's no surprise, this is not the Oregon Stock Exchange, right? This is the Texas Stock Exchange. We have had and are in the middle of this Texas miracle that has been in support of our great leadership. Regardless of your politics, we have a wonderful support of Texas leadership to create this environment and foster this environment that we have seen more companies move their headquarters, expand in the state. We have 1 in 10 public companies based here. 52 of the Fortune 500 are headquartered in Texas, and it is only growing. And because of that momentum, we've been able to establish Texas as this next center of gravity for the financial markets, specifically Dallas as the hub for the next capital markets. We have a tremendous amount of wonderful industries that are in support of this economy. We have opportunity to grow others like healthcare and biotech. But the stock exchange here is really representing all that hard work. So what I think if you're looking at in the future is continued growth. It is the opportunity for folks, whether they graduate from a Texas college, go Ponies, or they are moving here from different states or from abroad. Texas resonates very well, not just in the U.S., but across the world. We have people from Singapore and Australia and Europe reaching out asking, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? How can we get involved in this? So I think what we're going to see in the city specifically is we're going to see an increased attention on what Dallas is doing. We're going to probably see housing prices be a little bit more difficult, more traffic, but that's all a benefit because we're going to see more companies take a look at moving here, taking advantage of the pro-business that's been established and continuing to grow. We're going to see more skilled labor and specific industries grow and become more prevalent, unlike maybe what we've seen in the past. And we're also really going to have the eyes of the world on what we're doing and be able to replicate that with taking companies public sooner, with keeping companies public longer, and making this truly an opportunity for people to enjoy the public markets, which are the envy of the world.
While the Texas Stock Exchange holds enormous long-term potential, it's only natural to expect some growing pains along the way. Nicole shared her thoughts on what some of those early challenges might be.
I think it's really going to be two things. From a stock exchange, from my own personal, it's a new brand. It's a new name in a duopoly that has been around for 230 years. Being a new entrant is not easy. We are certainly excited with the challenge that this brings us. We think if anybody can compete, it is Texas, it is Dallas. But being new is always a challenge. And the name recognition, the brand recognition can only go so far. We need to make sure that not only is Y'all Street obviously a very catchy name, but it's really taken seriously. I think that's going to be the key challenge, is really understanding that this is, regardless of political views, this is an opportunity to really revitalize a very depressed industry, which is the public markets. So if you think about it, why we're here is being public is not an attractive option. Companies are staying private a lot longer. They're taking private equity money at a rapid rate, and we are seeing a decrease in companies staying public and going public. So we really want to change that. So I think the challenge is going to be, in addition to being a new entrance, it's going to be to really recreate that excitement around a public market exit. We want to be able to offer a company that maybe was started in Dallas by a husband and wife, and they want to go public. That should be an interesting opportunity. It shouldn't just only be to take private capital. So it's going to be really changing the mindset that's been in place for so long, because being public is expensive, it's risky, and it ultimately can be a tremendous amount of time away from the business. So we're really going to have to work on changing that mindset and understand why the Texas Stock Exchange is going to reduce those costs, reduce the risks, as well as create an attractive option.
The good news? You have a role to play in the success of the Texas Stock Exchange. As consumers, business leaders, voters, and citizens of Dallas, you can help shape the success of TXSE and overcome the challenges that Nicole just mentioned. Here's how we can all do our part.
Dallas, more so than any other city in the state, and we all love them, but Dallas is truly unique in that there is a we will win for all mentality. We want to win as a city. We want to win because it's better for our broader community. And that mentality is going to have to maintain and keep up at a rapid pace, because we are going to see other cities, maybe Miami, maybe it's New York City, maybe it's San Francisco, try to take a piece of what has been built here. And so for the people in this room, it's going to be to continue to support the amazing economy that we have here by creating great candidates for the jobs that are opening up in finance or private equity or in legal or in even politics. We're seeing a lot of policy changes happen at an unprecedented rate to make it more attractive to either be incorporated here or headquartered here or listed here. So I think that there's going to be some very specialty jobs that are going to be created that are going to need to be filled, but also they're going to need thought leaders in that space too. So I think taking the work that you all know how to do so well and making that available to people that are either coming in new or learning a skill set for the first time is going to be imperative. But I also continue to believe that the "we will win for all" is what's going to really be the best opportunity for everybody in this room. All boats will rise with the tide that's coming in. It is not just TXSE that's bringing that in. It's been in place for many, many years. We're seeing Goldman bring in 11,000 employees and this beautiful Bank of America building being built here and many more to come. So again, it's all of us just need to continue to support each other's different businesses because that's what's going to make this continue to grow and thrive in the state that we've been in.
With a booming economy in Texas, particularly in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, companies are continually relocating and expanding here. This consistent growth creates a steady demand for talent across various industries. With the launch of the Texas Stock Exchange, which fields of expertise does Nicole believe will experience the fastest growth?
We have more finance professionals that live and work in the state than in the state of New York. So we have a tremendous bustling finance community, especially in Dallas. Those are going to continue to grow. I think especially as we see decision makers move here from hedge funds, from private equity, from venture capitalists on each coast, I think those skill sets and the people that support that ecosystem are going to be incredibly important. I also know that of all the sectors that Dallas does well, one that we are rapidly trying to increase is healthcare, biosciences, life sciences. We want to make Dallas a hub for bioscience just like San Diego or Boston or San Francisco. So I think looking at strategically, how can we recruit folks that are graduating from a great medical school to move to Texas or to work at a biotech starting up here in Texas is a fantastic opportunity. We also have a tremendous, we've got so much land. We got all these data centers we're going to have. We need to be able to have the folks that can build the data centers, that can run the data centers. I think we are seeing a tremendous rapid growth in these industries, and all of them are going to need that entire community that supports them, from construction all the way to HR to the actual technical piece of things.
A corporate leader may be eager to move operations to Texas, but without the necessary funding, it's just not feasible. However, as Nicole points out, for companies in a position to borrow, Texas offers a prime environment for access capital. She shares more insights on this at the MCBA luncheon.
Access to capital has been growing and will only continue to grow here. We are seeing, I think, thanks to many of the kids that get sent to college here from the coasts, their parents come to visit and they see this is actually a really great place to be, and they're moving here themselves versus the opposite, right, where the kid moves back home. So I think we're really seeing the decision makers, whether they're portfolio managers or CIOs or venture funds, whether they're even moving completely here or opening up a significant presence here, we are seeing that on a regular basis, not just in Dallas, but throughout the state. And that gives more attention to people that are local. You're going to be able to access somebody that is making decisions on where to put capital locally. You don't have to just fly to New York or fly to Chicago or fly out west to have a conversation. You're going to be able to do that in the state more than ever. And I think that's the key, is we are certainly here to look at all forms of capital. We, of course, want people to go public. That is a thriving economy, but we also just need a balanced ecosystem. So for us, that venture capital money, that PE money is still very important. We need healthy companies that are in the private sector to become a healthy company in the public sector. So yes, I think we will see an inflow of that, and I think as we grow industries, like as I mentioned, healthcare, life sciences, those investors will follow. The REIT investors as well, with the data centers coming in, they will follow. So we will definitely have more access, and that means that you will have more opportunity to grow your own business. As you want to maybe open up a satellite office in Austin or in San Antonio or in Oklahoma, wherever that might be, you'll have the opportunity to speak with somebody that is going to be making financial decisions in the state.
At the luncheon, many business leaders expressed real excitement about their chance to take their companies public once the Texas Stock Exchange is up and running. Y'all Street creates opportunities for businesses that may not have had the same shot at the New York Stock Exchange to finally scale and grow. But make no mistake, this doesn't mean the quality of Y'all Street should be underestimated. So, if you're considering going public with an IPO, here's what you need to know.
What we're looking to do here as an exchange, this is not a low quality exchange. Texas doesn't do anything low quality, right? We want high quality companies that signal high quality investment opportunity. So the Texas Stock Exchange will have the highest listing standards in the world, which means that we are really raising the bar for companies to go public, but that also gives companies a chance to go public. We want them to go public sooner. In the 90s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, you could invest in the next Tesla, in the next Amazon, Google. Now, these companies are waiting until they are multi-billion-dollar market caps. It's a very difficult investment opportunity for a retail investor or for a small investor. So for us, we really want to position the Texas Stock Exchange, while it is high standards, how can we encourage companies to go public sooner? Unfortunately, I can't give too many details. We are still waiting SEC approval, which we are expecting, and we can talk about that timeline. I don't want to get ahead of my regulator. I also don't want to go to jail. So I will be sharing that as it comes out. But for us, we've looked at all the criteria and how can we unburden some of the requirements that are keeping companies private for longer, and that will absolutely be considered as we release our listing standards and how we will consider IPOs.
Dallas is known for a lot of things: trading Luca, the Cowboys, and of course, our iconic skyline. But here's something you might not know. Nicole Chambers, now the global managing director of the Texas Stock Exchange, wasn't actually born in Texas. Once she got here, though, she never left. And today, she's sharing some personal insights on what it means for Dallas to be the home of the Texas Stock Exchange.
I am originally from San Diego and came to SMU, and like most SMU grads now are from California or Florida. But, I really recognized coming from a city that was very specific in industry: tourism, military, biotech, fantastic. Love being from San Diego. It's great to visit, especially in August. But really understanding what my education allowed me was to be in a city that had such opportunity across the entire board. Whether you want to go into the legal profession, HR, finance, civic duty, you name it, it's available here. And so I think, as I look at that, I've only seen Dallas grow. We hope to be part of the skyline. We are looking currently at where we will have our official headquarters. So we hope that people sitting on the steps of Dallas Hall will be able to see the TXSE logo and signs and all the fun things that go along with having a stock exchange. We want to have the bell, or as many people have asked for, a cannon. We're gonna need some permits, permit person in the room, or whatever else comes with that. We see a great opportunity to have that fanfare of just people watching, right? If you're in Times Square, you can watch the NASDAQ bell. If you're watching TV and you see, the Dallas Cowboys ringing the bell, we want to be able to have that community be a part of what we're building here. So we will have the Texas Market Center in the skyline. We will have a Texas Business Museum that will highlight all the great work that's been done in the state, from the spindle top to the gigafactory, and all that's to come. So there is a tremendous opportunity still. I mean, when I was graduating SMU and took a job at NASDAQ, I would have never guessed that there'd be a stock exchange here.
With the Texas Stock Exchange coming to Dallas, it's inevitable that more businesses will follow. But what kind of companies does Nicole foresee making that move?
I'd be remiss if I didn't say what's coming in are the other exchanges. It's a completely affirming choice that I made to leave NASDAQ when I now know they're opening a second headquarters here because of what TXSE is building. The New York Stock Exchange has moved a trading medallion here. It's now been renamed NYSE Texas. That never happened when the Miami Stock Exchange opened, or any other regional exchange that has ever happened in the past. So it is affirming that what we're doing is formidable, and it is a risk to the business that they have in the state that they've been in for 230 years. So I say welcome. Thanks for finding it. We've been here the whole time. But ultimately, the exchange, that whole infrastructure, we are going to see that built here. I know the New York has opened up or announced offices in Old Parkland and NASDAQ over by the Crescent, and obviously we will be here. There's an entire industry now that is here that wasn't here a year ago. So there's so much more to come, and what else comes with that. Data centers, as we've talked about several times, potentially crypto, potentially others that are all involved in the industries that surround trading and the economy around it.
With all the buzz surrounding Y'all Street, the big question is, when will it become a reality? When will the Texas Stock Exchange officially launch?
We are expecting approval by the SEC no later than beginning of Q4 of 2025. So we are just a few weeks, if not months, out from approval. That will allow us to be an exchange and start our actual amendments and showcasing what we're going to do from a listing qualifications and standards and pricing. We have built our exchange technology from scratch. This is a completely electronic exchange, as all exchanges are, but we are really excited in that there are probably 8 people in the entire world that can create an exchange and do the coding, and we have 4 of the 8 working for us. So there has been a tremendous effort made to not only create an exchange, but to build the most competitive exchange in the world. So we are very excited to have that open and launch in the middle of Q1 2026. So in Q1 26, TXSE will be open for trading. That will allow folks to use our exchange to trade on and trade through. We will start listings of ETFs in shortly after that, Q2, Q3, and then corporate listings will start in mid Q3, about this time next year. You'll start to see companies either move their listing from the New York or NASDAQ or even a foreign issuer, as well as IPOs later in the year. So we are just about 12 months away from really being up and running.
After the conversation with Nicole wrapped up, I had the chance to sit down with Onyinye Akujuo, the president and CEO of MCBA Dallas. Since stepping into her role earlier this year, Onyinye has been focused on strengthening the connections among business leaders and pushing to make Dallas the best city in America. I'm thrilled to introduce you to this powerhouse leader, Onyinye Akujuo. Onyinye, I have not given you any feedback because I was waiting for this.
Wow.
It was spectacular. Congratulations on a successful rebrand. I mean, it was remarkable. And Shannon actually has a time lapse of everyone filling the room. It was the first time that MCBA has ever had any wait list. Congratulations. How have you come in here and totally transformed it? I know it has not been without hurdles. Tell me how you've managed to do this in your few months being here.
First and foremost, I can say thank you because that really means a lot to me. I came to MCBA back in February of this year. I went to my first luncheon and the room was so energetic. And the first thing I said to myself was, this is the most amazing organization. Why is it that I tell people about MCBA and they don't know nothing about this? I said, this is the best kept secret. So for months, I've been doing research. I've been looking at the competitors. So I've been doing competitive analysis and even putting together a strategic plan to see how we can be able to break the walls of these rooms pretty much. I wanted to make sure that people would be dying to come to these events. These luncheons are the pinnacle of what we do as a programming organization. But most importantly, it's the energy in the room. All the CEOs are just looking for a way for their employees to be engaged civically. And they also need to tie back how we can be there to support their businesses. So doing a whole reimagination of MCBA, because MCBA is already great. We just wanted to make it even greater, even bigger, even better. We know, and I could tell, and I use the term we because I can't take all the credit. I had to look at the past and see where we came from in order to know where we're going. And just each lunch and every time I said, I'm going to look at my lessons learned on what people are wanting and listening to our members and even listening to wonderful people like you who are on our board and just to see what can we do better. And today is a product of all of that. It's a culmination of listening, watching, understanding, and trying to grow this organization to be better.
I have to tell you, I mean, Nicole was one of the most exciting speakers we've had to date.
Yes.
I can't wait to have lunch with her. But in being a board member who's been around for a very long time, helping bring the past CEO on, I mean, he did have and does have a tech background to really, right, we needed that type of experience at the beginning to bolster the actual mechanics of what was happening. You have an MBA from Cornell. You were running a large organization out in the Houston area.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your most recent experience that you believe sets you up for success in coming to Dallas?
Definitely. I was so proud to work as the Chief Operating Officer of the Houston-Galveston Area Council. I had the opportunity to oversee one of the largest economic development corporations, as well as one of the largest workforce development organizations. And on top of that, cooperative purchasing. So business has always been pretty much a part of the fabric of everything that I dream of doing in life. And so taking the experiences there, being also able to strategically help MCBA grow, I thought back at the point when I was working at HGAC and saying, these are similar challenges. We have companies and we have people who want to have access to more opportunities, growth, being able to cut through policies that don't work for business. And that, working in Houston, helped me to pretty much take that to Dallas. I can tell you one thing, Dallas is the star of Texas.
It is.
And Houston is great, but Dallas is beautiful. It's better. It's bigger.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to see, and just like all of our other companies, a clean Dallas, a safe Dallas, a Dallas that's kind of free from crime. I mean, you can't mitigate all crime, but at least if you want it at the lowest levels, let it be Dallas that doesn't have to suffer with crazy crimes. So taking all of the stuff that I learned in Houston, where it comes down to building policies, working closely with political partners. As you saw today at our luncheon, we had so many council members, even our mayor sitting right by my side, having the controller there. Is showing our businesses that we mean business. We're very serious about making sure that Dallas stays number one and at the heart of the mind of our governor, the world as a whole, and being a true business center, as you saw with Nicole Chambers today at Texas Stock Exchange. They're going to be New Yorkers, Californians looking to come here. And MCBA has to always be, when someone thinks about business, I want MCBA to come second. And that is the goal, and that's what I learned from Houston, bringing that up here.
I love it. Even the council members represented here today. I mean, we had diversity.
Yes,
right?
we
I mean,
did.
it wasn't just one political affiliation.
Correct.
Right? I mean, I know that it's nonpartisan,
Yes.
right? The local politics,
Yes.
which is great. But I know personally they have their own differing viewpoints,
Of
which I
course.
love the representation here today
Yes.
for that. I mean, only because you cannot only have one school of thought
That's
present
right.
when you are wanting business to succeed.
Amen. And that is what is the beauty about MCBA. It's not only that nonpartisanship, but if you do bring two people in different views into that one room, to hear the most important and most intelligent people speak about the things that help their communities, there has to be common ground. And common ground was here today at this luncheon.
It really was. And you are a mother,
Yes.
a businesswoman, a wife. You are a very well-rounded person who wants to see the success of
Yes.
our DFW Metroplex thrive. So I am
Definitely.
grateful to you for being here.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you. It looks
It's an
remarkable.
honor.
Yeah,
It's an honor.
I'm so pumped.